Okay, so chapter 2. That was all just lines and polygons. So I'm going to do this really, really quick because chapter 5 takes a little more explaining, okay? So with lines and polygons, we started with parallel lines. I know I spelled parallel wrong. Okay, so parallel lines, something like this, right? The arrows always indicate that they're parallel like that, so they don't touch. And then what's nice is, you put another line through them, there's certain properties about them, right? Like we know, if you look at the letters, remember, you had Keith's video, so it won't be quite the same. But if you look at the Z's on these things, you know that the inside angles on the Z's are what? Equal. Right, they're the same, they're equal. Right? But
why do you have the extra L equal?
Oh, I knew there was one. I panicked. All right. Then there's also Z's and C's when you're doing this stuff, right? And then when you look at the C's here, what do you know about these two angles?
They make up a total, and insert, they combine together to make up a total of 180 degrees.
They add up to 180, yes. So I'm going to do an example. I love this question. We're going to solve these two angles. I know this one here is 9x plus 32. And I know this one here is 11x plus 8. For the record, this is a harder question, definitely, but I love it. Because nobody gets it right. And it's actually not that hard. People see the X's and they melt down, have a stroke, and then wet themselves. But really, what do we know about these two angles? They add up to, very good, my man. So we know 180 equals 11x plus 8 plus 9x plus 32. Holy guacamole. Can you guys solve for x now? I'm already having my stroke. I'm sorry. It's too late for me.
But that was plus 8, not plus 8. Oh.
Well, we got to solve for x, right? We can do that. We've been doing that since grade 8, right? So, collect your like terms first, right? Then I bring the 40 over to the other side through subtraction. Now, how do I bring the 20 over? Very good.
This looks simple compared to
I have 11 and 9 together.
It's simple compared to what? Right? So I start with chapter 2. It's an easy chapter. Maybe you guys started chapter 2, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we did.
It's an easy chapter. It makes you feel good. Like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, and then after
Yeah, then I just like destroy you with chapter 7. Now, ideally, we would have got to chapter 1, and it's like, oh, this is easy again. I feel okay. And you kind of forget about quadratics. Quadratics is hard. It just is. So now we just got to figure out what these are. So I plugged 7 in. So 77 plus 8 is 85. Now you can plug 7 into here if you want to.
oh yeah, but we don't have to.
Right, so you could just go 180 minus 85, which would be 95. But both will give you the same answer. Because 9 times 7 is 63. 63 plus 22 is 85. What's that?
32.
Oh, plus 32, yeah. 95. Yeah, sorry. I said 85. Oopsie daisy. Oh, and I wrote 22 here. All right. Fixed it. Thank you. I wouldn't put it in my top 5 of 3s that I've made, but it's definitely not the worst.
Pretty bad.
It's not my worst 3, let's put it that way.
It's just like a swirly, like.
So my proportions are off a little bit.
It's
not
an
even work.
article 3. Got that swirl.
You guys know how the pressure it is to be up here in front of everybody? And then writing on this thing is, yeah, I know. It's easier to be in front of kids than it is adults.
Oh.
They're not terrified. Because they're usually smarter than me. You guys, I just assume I'm brighter than all of you.
Yeah.
So that goes a long way.
You know, the university degrees and the extensive amount of time spent in other places in the world, you tend to make people a little bit more intelligent.
Right? It's great. I just look down on all of you and just,
Well, literally, because you're like, what, 64?
Yeah, that's versus a bunch of like
That's
15
true.
and 16-year-olds from like middle of nowhere Saskatchewan.
I didn't say that, Sam. I'm sure you've all lived
We are from
I said it.
rich, diverse lives.
It pretty much takes me 20 minutes to get.
I live a rich, diverse life.
I grew up the same way, guys. I get it.
Not what you.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So I get it.
Living the dream.
Right? Bored all the time. Oh, other things we covered in this chapter was triangle stuff.
What? Oh, yeah.
You guys know that all the angles of a triangle, right?
180.
Yeah. So A plus B plus C. Then there was also this one.
I just.
Oh.
What is it?
So this angle here, if this is A, B, C, this exterior angle on A,
Just isn't it add on to
Well, how does it equal 180 with like that ending?
you guys are close. Yeah, like this part here. Oh, what happened? That's weird. So this part here and this one add up to 180, right?
Yeah.
So what that means is theta here is equal to angle B plus angle C. Because, right, this plus this equals 180, but this plus these two also equals.
Wait, that's the thing called?
Well, that's what the symbol's called.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to ask. Like, I don't
Yeah.
remember what that was called.
So this is the exterior angle of angle A is equal to the interior angles of B plus C. Okay? So if you add up,
Well, what did we do?
you need parts of it. Okay? So like all these blue parts, if you add up these two, equal this one here. That's a trickier one for people to see.
No, maybe.
It makes total sense, but when, like again, when you get a basic drawing like this, very simple. But like if you're given let's see here.
Oh, we're getting like 80 different exterior angles, and I get what?
Like on like that one, like hexagon looking thing you had, and there's like 10 triangles and then a bunch of lines.
Right, it gets a little trickier.
It was weird.
Okay. But there's lots of good practice in the book for you guys to go over.
We all spent like a full class on that.
And then the last bit was regular polygons. So do you guys remember what a regular polygon is? All side lengths and all interior angles are the same. Oh, and. Ooh. That's right. And angles are the same. So if you get something like this. Okay, let's pretend. So all these lines here indicate they're all the same length. So this is a regular polygon.
Yeah.
Length.
Same length.
The lines say they are, so they have to be. All right?
Hey, can't argue with the math guy.
That's right. I have a math degree, so you all just sit there and be quiet. All right?
That is very unusual.
Sierra, you are now failing my class.
Your best
Congratulations.
driving achievement of your life is not accepting bribes from average driving.
All right. So, with this, you can find the sum of all the angles. With this handy formula that I will give you on the test. And it is 180 times n minus 2. Yeah. N is number of sides.
Oh, it's this.
Now, if you want to find out what the measurement is on these angles, because it's a regular polygon, I stated up here all the angles are the same. To find one of the interior angles, is that what they call it? Yeah. The length of the angle.
Then we divide by the number of sides.
Right. It's just the same formula.
Over again. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I give you 120. At this point.
This would be, it's a hexagon, so 6. So 4 times 18 is 540. Sure. Divided by, yeah.
No.
All right. So was there an example that you guys were stuck with on this one?
So I can 720.
720.
It's some of all the interior angles on the phone.
Oh, and then it's just like all of like the individuals would be simplified. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the conjecture?
Oh, conjecture?
I just saw unit 1 is about conjecture.
Don't worry about that. That's like when you're stating something. Hold on, Tara. Move on to the next question, okay, bud?
This is the last question, and I need more questions.
More questions to your questions. Okay, so there's no questions about this stuff.
Here inequality. Growth.
Stats,
Chapter 5.
chapter 5. All right, I love statistics. I took a couple classes. I liked it in school. I hated it until I took it at university. Lots of good paying jobs in statistical analysis. If you can look at numbers and crunch data and make things that work out of it, people will pay you lots of money, just FYI.
I can do that for free by being a baseball fan.
You could, but you can also make money being a baseball fan doing this. You got a statistics degree, right? They're statisticians. So the first bit was mean. Median. Mode. So mean, there's a symbol for that. X with the line over top of it. Hopefully you've seen that before. Okay. That's just your average.
Well, what's one of your low? Oh, yeah. Doing that
Sweater.
Yo.
I just did the whole wrong section.
Cool.
Standard DP.
Now go back and do the right section. Okay, I'm not going to do an example to show you how to find the average of a group of numbers. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, get going, you goofy bugger. Oops. Shouldn't have said
Yeah,
that.
okay. Whoa.
It slipped. I'm too busy. All right. Median. Middle number. What's that? Mode is the mostest. Most.
How do you find
The middle number, you got to put them all in order. From smallest to biggest. Right. So, okay, real quick, if you want to find the median, let's say with like these numbers here, 5, 7, 9, and then 11. It's going to be the number, because there's an even amount, it's going to be right here. So what you do is you take the numbers in between them, add them together, and divide by 2. Well, I'm not going to give you a simple example like that. And then if you had, let's say, another number like this, another one in the middle. Okay? Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Next part. Histograms. You're not going to have to do frequency or frequency polygons, but you are going to have to draw a histogram.
I didn't like frequency polygons. I really
So remember with histograms, they're like bar graphs, but the lines touch, right?
And they're each bar represents a range.
Absolutely.
I remember.
Make sure you have a scale here. You have your ranges here. So like if you went from like, this is from 0 to 10. This would be from 11, 20, like that. Make sure you have labels
Wait, so like,
and a title. Well, you could put 10 to 20 down, but you would start at 11, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take either or. And you have to shade. Now, it doesn't have to be a Picasso, but it should be neat, and you should follow the rules.
That is
A little messy.
I'm really good at
Okay, Van Gogh. Oh, who's it? Nice line. I can't think of anyone. I don't want a Jackson Pollock. Let's put it down.
that.
Jackson Pollock?
Oh, is it?
You can do the splattery bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, and it was art. He kind of started that whole contemporary movement. Okay?
Kind of started that whole pretentious movement.
Pretentious movement. All right.
Last year's one's for do one. Right.
Okay.
All of us.
Yeah, go for it.
Won't clean that one up.
Yeah, hopefully Mrs. Whiteman doesn't catch you.
Oh no, till we catch them and then catch them scared.
Yep. Okay, 5.3, standard deviation.
Standard deviation symbol like
The thing that takes forever.
Deviation. I use this symbol for standard deviation, sigma.
graphic.
Yeah. So your standard deviation, remember, is how far away on average your data is from your median. Or your mean, sorry. Okay? Now, standard deviation has one heck of a formula that you will be given on the test. All right. So it's the sum of every number subtracted from the mean squared.
Yeah,
So
I
you
remember doing, there's a question where we had to do this 50 times.
Yeah,
I took forever.
Yeah, on the test, that could be like a group of like 10 numbers, 8 numbers, something like that. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was like.
I do that, yeah, for textbook questions. It's great because I give you one question and you're quiet for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Longer than that.
Longer.
Longer
There's
than
almost
that.
50 minutes.
Oh, you guys are dramatic. Okay.
No, straight up go on to like
And then you divide it by the total number. And then you add up all those numbers, divide it, and then you take the square of that, square root of that.
wait, but
Do you guys want a quick example? What, Tara?
wait, like there's some.
What's that?
It's just on all these questions, they're all so hard.
Okay, well, remember your bed mez, right?
I don't know
I think I got this one wrong too.
Okay, did you keep them all as fractions?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to wait, bud. I'm in the middle of a lesson, okay? Move on to the next one, or move on to the next group of questions, okay, that I gave you?
Was it 12 and 13?
Something like that.
Yeah, start with 12.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's some just that, like that.
Whatever.
This?
Yeah, we'll keep.
Yeah. Do you guys want a quick example?
It's cool.
Okay. I have to do it on the next page, though.
All right, we're doing an example.
Yeah. So get your calculators out. I'm going to need a little help to do this quickly, okay? So we're going to look at some class averages. So let's say these are, let's say they're Levi's marks.
Are they gonna go?
No, some aren't great.
Okay.
So Levi's marks were 94, 56, 89.
56, I think that's
No, it's physical.
for sure.
Levi's and Chad got a draw. Chad, Michael,
Yeah, I always put Michael because everyone just kept saying.
So your average, I'm not going to show my work.
got it.
What is it?
78.
All right.
How did you get 70?
I added these all up, D, and I divided by 5, right?
Okay.
That's how you find the average, right?
My number.
I got confused, I thought you were doing standard deviation.
Well, you need the average to do the standard deviation.
Oh, right.
Now you got to take each number and minus the mean from it. This part, it helps just to keep it all organized like this.
Whatever.
Go.
I have 8.3.
Are you done 8.2? Are you sure?
Like 2 questions, like half. They're so stupid.
You got to do them, buddy.
They're so stupid.
You got to do them. Come on. You don't have to. You're in a good place. You don't need to rush.
I
Okay.
just want to get it done.
I know, but if you're rushing, you're going to make mistakes. Okay. So then you go through and you do all the subtraction here. Okay.
Oh, I hated that. I was saying it's between C.
What's up? Just waiting on
Yeah. Slow it down, D. Okay, so then you take all your numbers, and then you're going to square them. Now remember, when you square a negative number, what does it come out as? Right.
Oh, square all. Oh.
36 121, 121. What's 22 squared?
Only like 440.
440.
484.
Or 16 squared is 256.
Yeah.
All right, now the next part, you add them all together.
I got the answer.
What is it?
1018.
1018. Then you divide that by the number of terms that you have. So it's going to be 203 something. 203. What's that?
203.6.
And then the last piece to this is to take.
Okay.
Always.
If I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, I got you too. I was like,
14.26. 14.27. I wrote it.
Okay, so that means on average. So that means Levi's average was 78, and most of his data is going to fall between like 78
Good job, Lisa.
plus or minus.
Congratulations.
Okay. So the smaller your standard deviation is, that means the closer to the mean most of your data was. The bigger the standard deviation, the more variance between your numbers. The bigger the range. Very good, okay? As a teacher, like you always want to have a high average with a small standard deviation. That means, yeah, everyone did well. Ideally, right? But you're not going to fudge your numbers for that. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there for today.